Hi Meetu, how are you?
Hi Arushi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Today feels like a different day for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a very different energy today.
From what I was reading recently, I think I've shared the post with you as well. I was reading about this solar storms happening around. And because of that, you feel a little tense, dehydrated. Some people are going through headaches and well, on the plus side, we have plenty of sun in Ireland, so I'm glad about that.
And I can't talk about India because India is all about the sun.
You have too much sun.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing it with us. Um, um, Speaking of solar storms and this current energy that's flowing, a lot of things are coming up for a lot of people, and
Yeah.
I see that for some reason, I am someone who tends to gel up well with everybody around me, no matter who that person is. But
Hmm.
somehow I think there is a little off vibe going on. Like whatever I'm saying is not being received properly
Yeah,
for whatever
because
reason.
I think these solar flares or the sunstorm,
Yeah.
it's actually causing a lot of disruption in the communication.
Mm,
And, there's this energy of being misunderstood.
yeah.
And there's also this energy of anger and irritation in the surface, under the surface. It's like, it's kind of bubbling under the surface. Something happens and boom, there's this
Yeah.
spark.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's happening. And it's a time to just be kind to yourself and to others because you're not the only one going through it. Everybody else around you is also.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be kind and be gentle and don't try to rush things too much. They're gonna happen in their own time. So yeah.
And drink lots of water.
Of course. Drink lots of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about conflicts and breakups, which is very much in resonance with the thing that we're just discussing about solar storms and the, off vibe going on around.
Yeah.
What do you think, Neetu? Are conflicts very natural in a relationship, or is it like a sign of something else?
Um, so let me put it this way. If there are no conflicts, there is no relationship.
Is that so?
Yeah. Because if you are in a relationship with somebody, you are bound to have disagreement over something. Now, when we talk about conflicts, we talk about disagreements. We
Yeah.
do not talk about full blown physical conflicts or verbal exchanges. We're
Violence.
talking disagreements.
Yeah.
Now, it depends on every person how they take how they participate in the disagreement or
Yeah.
not participate.
Yeah.
Are you kind of withdrawing and giving a silent treatment to your partner, which is passive aggressive treatment, or is it physical and verbal?
And yeah.
Which is more aggressive, which is more overtly aggressive treatment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, conflicts can take many forms, but essentially, conflicts are very important to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Because, I was just reading something today about people pleasing and
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah.
And, it said that the person who's at the end of who's at the receiving end of a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Let's say you are a people pleaser and your partner, is on the receiving end of it. Um, if you do not share your opinion, if you do not share a different opinion, the other person would never know that there is something else going on here.
Yeah.
And sometimes not sharing it causes conflict.
Mm.
It's like, why didn't you share? I thought this was this. I thought this was that. Oh, you've changed. You this, you that. You're not saying you
Yeah.
don't love me anymore. And all those things happen. What's really going on underneath is a simple disagreement of opinions or worldviews or perspectives.
I see. Um, I personally don't like fights at all. But like you said, conflicts are bound to happen when you are in a relationship, and even otherwise with your friends, with your colleagues, or family members. You're bound to have a different opinion because you see the world in a different way, like you said.
Yeah.
But personally, it gets me all wired up and jittery. Like I start shaking every time there's a conflict going on, even around me, even if that doesn't involve me. So how
Yeah.
can I avoid having that? You know?
Okay. So, when you get jittery or all wired up when a conflict is happening,
Yeah,
it's like we kind of switch back into this little child inside us
yeah,
who felt unsafe and helpless during a conflict.
okay,
So, the moment we experience a conflict, if we haven't made peace with the energy of it, or we haven't really understood that conflicts are natural,
yeah,
we suddenly switch back into that little child who feels very unsafe when a conflict is happening around them.
yeah,
Let's say parents are fighting.
yeah,
That's a conflict for a child.
mm-hmm.
And the child, the person goes back into that energy of that little child and starts feeling unsafe.
Mm,
And that unsafe feeling makes you feel uncomfortable with conflicts.
mm,
Now, look at it this way. Your parents, let's say, were having a conflict
yeah,
because they were trying to sort something out. There was a disagreement.
mm,
They were trying to sort something out. I said this, you said that.
yeah,
There's some conflict going on, some disagreement, some communication gap going on, and they're trying to sort it out. If they don't sort it out, the
yeah,
communication gap is just going to widen.
yeah. It's gonna pile up.
And
Yeah,
silently, either there'll be a volcanic explosion someday, or they'll drift apart emotionally someday.
yeah,
This is the reason I said conflicts are so important. So, when this little child inside us, which is a part of the inner child healing,
yeah,
when this little child understands that they're just trying to sort some things out,
yeah.
and it's not because of me, and it's got nothing to do with me, and it's safe to be here, that's when you will start becoming comfortable with conflicts.
Mm,
Now, another thing is, just as a temporary fix, if
yeah.
you see conflict happening around you, leave that environment.
So basically, what I already do.
Yeah, you always have the choice to walk out, but that's not a very healthy choice in the long run,
Yeah, true.
because you've got to understand conflict means two people are trying to sort out a disagreement.
That's a very good definition to keep in mind when I engage in an environment where conflict is already happening.
Yeah.
Interesting. So sometimes what happens is, despite the fact this is something that I've noticed, despite the fact that I don't want to fight or I am not a very spiteful or vengeful person, I may engage with people who are like that, my ex partners or my friends or my ex friends or whatever. And they wish to fight, but I don't. And how can we avoid that situation where somebody else wants to pick a fight? This happens in relationships as well. I'm aware of a few people around me who just have like this problem of getting tangled up. Because, and every time I ask them what exactly happened, they're like, oh, that person provoked me because they raised their voice first. That is the main sentence that they speak, that they raised their voice first, so I had to, because my point wasn't getting across, or my voice wasn't getting clear or heard, or whatever words. And yeah, so can we avoid such situations, and if so, how do we do that?
So if the other person is spiteful,
Yeah,
let's for a moment step into their shoes.
yeah,
Okay. If somebody is being spiteful, what could be going on for them? Maybe they are feeling unheard. Maybe they are feeling as if, they'll have to be very aggressive and forceful. That is only then, their point will be taken seriously.
yeah.
Or maybe they are feeling, their ego is feeling threatened, you criticizing me, am I a bad person, and all that.
You
And all
making
these
me angry. Yeah,
actually, and all these things are going on at a very subconscious level.
yeah.
They're not at the conscious level. So when somebody is being spiteful, let me use this word a little loosely. They're probably feeling insecure.
Hmm, that's one way to put it. Yeah,
And to to kind of hide their insecurity, they're arming themselves with the behavior of being, let's say, spiteful.
Hmm.
Now, how do you deal with them? The first thing to, do when a person is spiteful is to not, if
Match.
you have to deal with them, if they are trying to provoke, you don't take the gift.
Yeah.
Anger is a gift, it's like, somebody is giving you an orange and you don't want to take an orange. What
Yeah.
would you say? Well, no, thank you. That's something that we can also do with anything, any emotion. Somebody is giving us anger or a vibe of anger, we can say, no, I'm not interested.
Hmm.
And very gently also, not like no. We don't have to put up a wall. We could
Yeah.
just, thank you, but no.
Okay.
And then a way to deal with spiteful people is you have to first deal with your emotion so that their emotions do not, kind of like two people's emotions are not fighting.
Yeah.
Their emotions don't have anything to fight with.
Yeah.
There's this funny thing. A woman went back to a supermarket to return something.
Yeah.
And, she was all prepared to fight, and I'll have to fight, otherwise they'll not take it. She went there. She said, I want to return this. The lady, the cashier said, okay. She took it, and she said, do you want an exchange or should I give you the money back? And this lady who had gone to train, she was like, what do I do? I was like, I wanted to fight. And so, funnily enough, the cashier said, oh, you wanted to fight about this? And this lady says, yeah.
So she gives it back.
So the cashier said, okay, great. She said, I can't take this. And they had a fight, and the woman felt so relieved. Yes, if somebody is prepared to fight, understand that they are prepared to fight. What can you do so that the fight doesn't happen? The exchange is more cordial.
Yeah.
For that, you will have to drop your own fight.
Hmm.
So if somebody's, I know it will probably take a bit of work and
Okay.
a lot more patience to do that.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of practice because we are not used to behaving in another way.
Yeah.
It's like imagine every day you brush your teeth with your right hand. One day you try to brush it with your left hand. It'll be very awkward. Behaviors.
Or other things with hands. It's okay.
So behaviors are something similar. You used to behaving in a certain way. When you try to behave in another way, it's difficult sometimes. You don't know what to do, and it doesn't come naturally to you. But it's just a habit that you want to cultivate.
Yeah.
Instead of behaving in a way that's like expecting a fight and giving back a fight, you'd say, okay, you are expecting a fight, but let's not fight about this. Let's talk normally about it, and okay, I am not putting up my ego to fight with you.
Hmm.
Mostly conflicts are only ego clashes.
I was about to say that actually in the beginning when I was talking about conflicts and me having a problem about conflicts. I was like, is it not that they're just ego clashes? And um again, coming back to the same thing, can we not avoid these ego clashes? But then human beings have egos, and
Yeah,
it's just by default in our systems. We can't
yeah.
help it. So
It's gonna happen, and all you have to do is just become more aware of, what are you fighting about? Is it because my ego is hurt, or is it because, I don't agree with what you said?
yeah.
So the moment you take things on the ego, it's difficult to disengage from the fight.
Mm,
But when you say, okay, my ego is hurt, now let me see what I can do about it.
yeah.
Because, it's a very powerful thing. No one can make you feel anything without your permission.
That's a very interesting line. Oh, it hits the right chord somehow.
No
Without
one,
my
no
wish.
one can make you feel small without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. No one can make you feel
Now that is a very wrong path, okay? Don't take me there. I remember saying this to someone very recently, I think probably like 2 weeks ago. I got pissed off about something and I was like, dude, you're making me feel small. Now I'm just going back to that statement. I gave the permission, so yeah, true.
So it's a choice you have, whether you choose to feel small or you choose to recognize what the other person means and is
Yeah.
trying to do and react differently or respond differently.
Mm.
So it's just that if you're more aware of it, if you do not take it to your ego, you are better equipped to handle a situation more peacefully.
Yeah.
But then that does require some working on yourself, some self-awareness, some consciousness, and it's a nice thing to build.
And signing off for sessions with Meetu.
Well, mostly sessions are about helping you become more conscious of your mind, your thoughts, your decisions, your behaviors, and gradually making changes to it.
Yeah, true.
Um,
So our first query for the day is this person who was asking, how should we resolve when a conflict arises? What's the best way to communicate that we aren't comfortable with arguments to our partner? Like, what's the best approach here?
uh, so, if there is a conflict and you're not comfortable with arguments,
Yeah.
first of all, you have to stop thinking of it as an argument. You
But
have
how
to
is it possible, Meetu, like if somebody, like you, let's say you worked throughout the day and you enter the house and the first thing that you hear is like a high-pitched ringing noise that you have no patience to bear with. What do you do?
Oh, okay. Again, relationship is a two-way street.
Yeah.
If one person doesn't say anything, the other person keeps nagging, the relationship is either dead or soon going to be.
Uh,
Because the one who nags is nagging because of some reason.
uh,
It could be a genuine reason, it could be a reason that they feel is true but is not really true. Could be anything.
yeah.
And we live on assumptions, and most of the problems happen because of assumptions.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to the two people to sit down and really talk about it. And
Hmm.
like I'm going to like call back to the previous episode we did about communication.
Yeah.
Really sit down and talk about things. When I feel angry, this is how I behave, or this is how you behave. When you
Yeah.
feel angry, this is how what I feel.
Yeah.
And can we do this in a different way? Can we have this argument in a different way?
Hmm.
If we are angry, can we take some time off and come back when we are not angry but in a constructive discussion mode?
Yeah.
And sometimes blowing off steam, by fighting with each other is not bad as long as it doesn't get dirty.
I mean, it can get dirty, but like in a good way.
That's fine. But as long as it's not getting dirty, you're not hitting below the belt. Fights are okay sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, because remember, the moment you hit below the belt, the moment you fight dirty,
Yeah.
it means you feel you are losing and you have to attack the person personally.
Yeah.
And that starts to become a red flag in the relationship.
Hmm. True.
Because now this is an important thing to highlight.
Yeah.
Um, it is said, whenever, let's say, partner is blaming the other partner.
Hmm.
Let's say the other partner, they were walking and they kind of um, collided with a table, and there was a flower vase on it,
Yeah.
and it fell down and it broke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this other partner can say this in two ways. One is you broke the vase.
Yeah.
The other is the vase got broken when you collided.
Yeah. I think it's it rings a bell somewhere. Is it like a Japanese thing or something like that? Some Asian part where they don't blame the people per se. They say that this happened because it was an accident.
This is something in NLP also. Okay. Do not blame the person, blame the behavior.
Hmm. Interesting.
You want to fight over a behavior, not over a person.
Yeah.
And once you start separating the two, a lot of your conflicts turn into discussions rather than arguments.
Hmm.
Generally, what happens in conflicts is, and this is something very common that I've heard from a lot of men. Like when
Yeah.
my wife begins to fight,
Yeah.
she brings up everything I've done in the past.
Yeah. That's a very common practice, by the way.
Yes. That's because, there's so much anger about what happened and it's not healed yet. It
Yeah.
keeps coming into the present.
Hmm.
So instead of doing something about the present problem, there's just a pile up of problems. And the person says, you know what? Chuck it. I'm not going to do anything
Yeah.
because it's too much to handle, or you're spiteful, or you are this, or you're that.
Hmm.
So for both the partners, it's actually for both the partners. You have to start understanding where is the other person coming from.
Hmm.
You have to start separating the behavior from the person.
Yeah.
And you have to fight when you're no longer angry.
You won't fight when you're no longer angry, Meetu. What are you saying?
Precisely.
I
Your
understand.
anger is your stuff. Deal with it. Don't throw it on the other person.
True. So, speaking of this, our next query is more to do with breakups because that is also the topic for the day. And
Yeah.
sometimes a lot of conflicts lead to breakups or not having enough conflicts and not speaking your truth or not disclosing everything. Not everything, but what needs to be said out loud
Yeah.
does lead to breakups. And we have, of course, thousand other reasons. But this next query is about breakups, and this person says, "I recently broke up with my partner, and the pain is just unbearable. Some days are worse than others. I don't have motivation to do anything. What should I do?" A few friends suggested I should step out of my comfort zone and see other people.
Hmm.
What would you say to that?
So every person heals differently from a breakup. And, you know, it's breakups. Now, this is something I really want to point out right now here because I've got this opportunity. Breakup is not just when two people in a relationship, in a love relationship, they separate and that's a breakup. No, even when friends separate, that's also a breakup.
Yeah,
Breakup can happen in any relationship, even when two business partners separate, that's a breakup. And all the breakups can have a similar kind of pain. The
yeah,
hurt can be similar, the grief can be similar.
yeah.
So, and every person deals with breakup in a different way, in a different manner. Like, it's a popular theory that for men, when they break up, the first week they are, very sad and all, like Devdas and all, very melodramatic. The second week they're kind of recovering. The third week they're going out and having a relationship and
Mm,
enjoying or partying with their friends. For women, it's the opposite. For women, after a breakup, they go out shopping and they are enjoying with their friends. The second week, they're kind of getting into the mode, like, what happened. And the third week, they're grieving the breakup.
yeah,
So every person behave. Now, this is a generalization. I'm not saying this is what happens for everybody, but
yeah,
it's just a means of saying that every person deals with it differently.
yeah.
Now, you have to find out how do you want to deal with it.
Mm,
Most often, when a breakup happens, there could be reasons of the breakup that are hurting you.
yeah.
Maybe there's hurt, maybe there's betrayal, maybe you know there's cheating that
Disappoint.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that could be a reason for breakup, and before you heal the breakup, you'll have to heal from the reason
Mm,
to overcome the breakup.
yeah. True.
Then the next thing is you'll have to grieve the loss of a relationship.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's not the loss of the relationship that causes more pain. Sometimes it's a loss of the dreams that you saw with the person
Yeah. Yeah.
that causes more pain.
Hmm.
And no matter what loss it is, whether it's a dream or the person in reality, you need to grieve the loss of it. It's really important. If you don't grieve that loss, if you immediately jump into another relationship, it becomes a rebound relationship.
Yeah.
And you kind of give the burden of dealing with your breakup to this relationship.
Yeah.
And this is why we say, if you're going into a relationship, don't go with an emotional baggage or the baggage of your past relationship. So please deal with it. Do not jump into another relationship. But yes, do not keep yourself so into your cocoon that you stop seeing other people. Meet your friends, go out. And once you've done this process, grieved it, then please go out and, find somebody else, date somebody else, see somebody else.
True. Speaking of cocoons, this next query is all about that. So this person says, it's been over 3 years since I broke up, but it still feels like I am not ready to date. Is this normal? I am scared that if I say it out loud, people will call me a freak, as I'm still mourning over something that isn't real. It happened in the past, right? I think deep down, I wish this never happened in the first place, I think. So, what
Hmm.
do you have to say to that?
So, first thing, yes, it's perfectly normal. If you're still mourning and grieving for 3 years, it's normal. It's okay. Everybody has their own time. There
Yeah,
is no one fixed time for it.
yeah.
But yes, you do need to heal the grief, heal the breakup, and grieve the loss and move on. Sometimes we are not able to move on because we don't want to move on.
Mm,
We feel if we the denial aspect, if we
true.
acknowledge that this is no longer there, then we'll have to really feel the reality of it,
Yeah, true,
which may be feeling lonely, which may be feeling abandoned, which may be feeling rejected, could be any of those feelings, and those are some heavy feelings to deal with.
true.
So, in such cases, it's a good idea to seek professional help, work with a coach or a therapist, and clear those feelings so that you don't have to keep, simmering in those feelings every day for so many years. Yeah, everybody deserves to be happy, and please claim happiness for yourself. Don't stay stuck in bad relationships or in broken relationships. Please move on. Yeah.
Speaking of everybody can be happy, I was reading this book recommended by a dear friend, Courage to be Disliked. And the starting argument itself catches you in like amusement. Like, what is he saying? The argument there is like just like you said, everybody can be happy without exception.
Yeah.
And the person who is approaching this philosopher saying this statement is like that is not true. Are you saying people are choosing their own misery? Blah blah blah. And it's a very very interesting book. Thank you for recommending that.
You're welcome.
And yeah, it's quite interesting to see how different perspectives are there, and how we can be happy despite choosing to be in denial for a few years and stuff like that. But coming back to the point where we need to seek professional help, I remember when I was in this bad state many, many years ago, and I signed up for your transformation circles, as we call them. Um, Mitu, do you think it's a good thing for everybody to have group sessions, or do you think that people should check with their comfort zone and see whether they want to sign up with the one-on-one or the group sessions? Because I think a lot of people that I spoke to have this very bad notion. I wouldn't say very bad, but like have this sort of certain notion that when you sign up for a group session, it means that you have to spill out all your stories in
Yeah.
front of strangers. So, would you like to clarify that a little bit?
So, I can talk in context of the transformation circle sessions that I do.
Yeah.
So, no, you don't have to spill out your stories, your heart in front of strangers if you don't want to, because at most, what you will have to spill out is the name of the feeling that you're feeling.
My feeling, yeah.
And it's like, even if you'd say, let's say, don't want to say that I'm feeling, let's say, guilty.
Yeah.
You say, I feel this feeling somewhere in this part of my body.
Yeah.
And that's enough to deal with it in a group session.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't really have to say that, what happened in detail and share your private lives. No, that is not expected of you. If
Yeah.
you to share and if there is time, yes, you may,
Yeah.
but that's not required for it.
So would you suggest a group session or an individual session to somebody going through a breakup?
Depends on where they are and who they are.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's up to them. If they are going through something acute, I would say sign up for a one-to-one session, because in a group session, a group theme gets addressed.
Ah.
A group theme gets addressed in a group session. But
Mm-hmm.
in a one-to-one session, it's all about what you're going through, and
The
the
focus attention, yeah.
yeah, and even you can share private stuff in a one-to-one session, which is very confidential.
Yeah.
Okay. In a group session, let's say you've done some work on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
or what you're facing is not as acute as per you.
Yeah.
Nobody else is the judge of that. Only the person going through something is a judge of that.
Yeah.
Then that is when a group session can be extremely beneficial for you, because you will kind of keep working and clearing stuff. And if there's something that comes up that requires specific attention, then that is a good time to go for a one-on-one session.
Mm.
But otherwise, group sessions are great because the first thing and the most important thing you get to understand is you're not alone.
I was just going to say that one of the reasons why personally recommend group sessions to people, especially transformation circle, because I've been acquainted with the whole process now for 7 years, um, is because of the fact that you're not alone. And even though you say that common themes get addressed and we have like specific themes to work with and stuff, I think that people who are signing up for it obviously have something to heal regarding that. So,
Yeah.
speaking of transformation circle, don't you have like one coming up next week or something? What was it?
It's coming up next Sunday.
Next Sunday. And what's the theme?
Theme for it is boundaries.
Ah, our good old boundaries heading.
Yes, good old boundaries.
Yeah.
Most important thing we have.
Wait,
A skin is a
I remember your imagery that you gave. You have a wall. Do you have a beautiful garden with like a fence and a little gate? Or
yeah,
you have no boundaries and anybody can come in and go at any. I remember. I completely remember. Yeah, so boundaries next Sunday. Great.
yeah.
I think a lot of people would like to sign up for that if that has been an issue in their lives. But
I feel talking about conflicts.
yeah,
If you are not good with setting healthy boundaries, you'll not be good with handling conflicts.
interesting. I never thought of it that way. How is it?
Because if you're good with setting boundaries, the first thing is you will know and you'll be able to communicate that this is my boundary. So
Yeah,
think about for 50 to 70% conflicts will not happen.
because people will be thinking twice before approaching you with a certain
No,
thing. Is that the trick
no,
case?
because you will automatically be communicating a boundary, and you will, let me put it this way, people will respect you more and you will respect them. Lack of boundaries means lack of respect.
Mm.
So
So,
someone who
yeah.
doesn't have boundaries is commonly called a doormat.
Mm. I have seen a few conflicts here and there between couples where one of the partners is constantly complaining about you don't respect me, and this and that. But now that you're saying this, it makes me also realize that that partner has also played a very significant role in exhibiting certain qualities like it's okay, like I can do more, and not respecting their own boundaries and then expecting others to respect their boundaries. That's like a conflict happening with their own selves. And then
Yeah.
that's why the conflict also shows up outside in their life. Yeah.
It sounds harsh, but it is truth
Yeah.
that if don't respect yourself and your boundaries,
Yeah.
others are not likely to respect you.
Because they don't have a map of it, no? They don't have a sense of it. They're like, what are you talking about suddenly? Yeah, true.
Like if you are a room with no walls, I can just simply walk through and through and you're not stopping me. So,
Yeah,
let's say 5 days later, you say, why do you keep stepping into my room? You should knock before you come. It's like, hello, I didn't know there were walls to knock on.
yeah, true, true, very true. Um, this is so powerful, the work that you're doing with Transformation Circle and individual session and stuff. But I was also interested in knowing more about the energy aspects. And speaking of energy aspects, I think that is what our next series is about, which we are starting from next week. And
Yes.
um, we have a lot of good topics to cover, like angel therapy, Reiki healing, and healing with Mother Kuan, and something more on the lines of that. But tell me a little bit about energy, Meetu. What do you think? Like, what's the concept and how is it based in science? Because I keep hearing these arguments that you guys are doing voodoo and black magic and all this these jokes about this. So tell me a little bit more about energy here.
So let me be a little scientific here, and don't worry, everybody can understand this science. Okay, don't get turned off by science. Uh, so the doctors put together a body, okay,
Yeah,
and they put all the organs together, the limbs, the muscles, skeleton, all the reproductive system, excretory, cardiovascular system, everything, digestive system. They put everything together,
yeah.
and yet the person is not alive.
Hmm.
What makes a person alive is this energy.
Hmm.
It's like this electricity running through the bulbs and the fans and the electronics that brings them alive. That's the energy we're talking about.
Hmm.
And if we go a little deeper into the aspect of energy, we are energy. We
Yeah.
are simply energy condensed enough that light can reflect through us.
Hmm.
But we are essentially energy. And today, quantum science, quantum physics actually proves it, actually says that. Something that we've been talking about for, centuries.
Would you say it's the same thing as having a spirit or a soul, or is it in alignment? Like, because a lot of times I see these terms being interchanged with each other, and then there's a lot of confusion around this.
So, let's keep the concept of spirit and soul separate.
Yeah.
Let's talk about energy, pure electricity. Let's call it that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're just talking about life force energy. We're talking about the energy that brings you alive, that flows through you, that you are. Your cells are made up of energy. Your atoms are made up of energy. Your whole body is made up of energy. And in fact, every healing science is based on the premise that energy follows thought.
Mm.
So if you can think something, energy will flow there and that will manifest or heal or, happen accordingly.
And that's how even prayers work.
Yeah,
Like, a
because
lot of times we hear doctors say only prayers can save this person now.
so it's interesting you bring that up because it is said that every thought and word of yours is a prayer.
Hmm. I never heard that. Thank
Now,
you.
if every thought and word is a prayer, notice or imagine what are you praying for all day.
Hmm. Food. Precisely. Yeah.
So whatever you are thinking is a prayer.
Yeah.
Whatever you are speaking is a prayer. And this is why we say in conscious awareness and in conscious living, uh, be very mindful and aware of what you're thinking and what you're saying, because everything you think and say is a vibration that
True.
is manifesting somewhere, somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's energy.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how energy works, what
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
We are energy beings. What are we made of? How are we
Yeah.
made? The chakras, the energy systems.
Yeah.
And energy healing modalities, what are they doing? They're not just
Yeah,
healing us, they're actually a way of life for us.
true.
Because I know this for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Every person, I can say this with guarantee,
Yeah.
every person in the whole world who has experienced, learned, or paid attention to the energy aspect of life, whether it's through healing or through anything else, the way of their life has altered for the better.
Hmm. I can say that for myself, at least. This is all very exciting, and I think that we should talk a lot more about this in our next episode, which is going to be coming Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank all the viewers here because this is, I think, we should close now. It's a
Yeah.
lot of relationship, and now we're kind of mingling with energy a little bit. So, just to kind of end first topic before we jump on to the next completely. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you for watching us and supporting us with all your love and likes and shares and queries and everything else. We appreciate your trust and your faith in the fact that you look forward to this episode every week, and we are here for you. Um, yes, Meetu, over to you.
Thank you, Arushi. And that was a beautiful close. I would just say transitioning from relationships to energy is um, mm, the energy that you show up with in a relationship is, or let's say, determines the quality of your relationship. So,
Well
yes.
put. Well put. Yeah.
So, energy is so important. And we're going to talk more about it in our coming sessions and the series. And so, stay tuned and keep watching. And if you missed any of our episodes in the past, you can always go back and watch them. And if you have any queries, any questions, anything that you would specifically like us to discuss, do let us know. Leave them in the comments, and we'll be eager to listen to you and eager to know what else would you like us to talk about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Meetu. Bye
Thank
bye.
Bye bye.